It's almost like somebody at eBay said, hey, let's make it easier for sellers to screw people over. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You're watching the channel Dr. Applesauce 2. My name's Will. It's another beautiful day here in Texas. I hope you guys know that I love you, that God loves you, and that there is an awesome plan for your life. Today, we're going to talk about the new eBay Authentication Guarantee program that they have for higher-end TCG ungraded single cards. Now, eBay has partnered up with CGC to do this, and on the surface, when people started talking about this, it looked like a good deal on the surface. But me being a natural skeptic and saying, eBay has had a really hard time, keeping fakes being sold on their platform and keeping people from scammed and really protecting buyers and sellers, and then CGC's backed up. Being a natural skeptic, I thought, okay, this seems good, but there's got to be more to it than this. So we've actually started seeing people get these cards, authenticated and get their cards in. And the few that we've seen, there's already a couple really big issues. So what's going on here is basically, I think the price point is $500 or $600. And if you purchase a card at this level, then eBay will automatically, at no cost to the buyer, send this card to CGC, and then CGC will look at the card and make sure that the card is authentic. So a few of the glaring issues that I noticed immediately once people started talking about this and once eBay started pushing it out is I immediately thought, first, this means there's going to be more hands on the card that you're buying, and there's going to be more shipping on the card that you're buying. More hands on the card, more shipping on the card means more possibility for damage, more opportunity for something to happen in transit, more opportunity for the person who is authenticating the card at CGC to mess it up. Who knows? More hands on your cards when you're buying them is not always necessarily a good thing. And this is something that I've really been worried about, and I want to give a big shout out to Rattle Pokemon. I noticed he put up a video yesterday as I was planning this one. He put up a video really breaking down some of the people that have been screwed over and really showing some evidence from those different situations. He did a great job really proving why there are some issues here. So I'm not going to attempt to do all of that. If you want to see that, you can go check out Rattle Pokemon's video. I'll make sure to throw something across the screen right here. But I'm just trying to highlight a few of the issues that I see with this new service. Other than the fact that using this authentication service, which I don't think you have a choice if you buy a card over this specific price point, when this card goes to CGC, CGC is only taking the card and authenticating that the card is real. They're authenticating that whatever card you've purchased is not a fake or a proxy. They may go and say, hey, okay, here, this is a first edition base Charizard and the listing is a first edition base Blastoise. Oops, that's an issue. I don't know. But what they're not doing is they're not looking at it and saying, hey, this is a first edition base Charizard. Hey, this listing is also a first edition base Charizard. But this one right here that I'm authenticating has a huge crease down the center of it, and the one on the eBay listing looks pristine. That is one of the biggest issues with this process. Now, the eBay page does have a thing that says they go and they check the corners and this, that, and the other, but you're going to see a couple examples, and I suspect we're going to see this happen quite a bit more often, where people are getting cards that are not the same condition as they were supposed to be or as they were listed in the listing. Does this mean that CGC or whoever is authenticating these cards is not taking the appropriate steps to really scrutinize and look at them and make sure it's the exact same condition as the card in the listing? Because we're seeing things slip through already where it's clearly not the same card that the customer gets as that is sold on the eBay listing. And in addition to that, you gotta wonder how many of these cards are they supposed to authenticate every day? If you have to authenticate in an 8-hour shift, say you have to authenticate, I don't know, like 300 of them, how much time can you really spend on every single card? Now, in Rattle Pokemon's video, he did show a couple examples with nice videos and pictures of several people who had purchased very expensive cards on eBay. One of them, I think, was a Poncho Pikachu, a Charizard Poncho Pikachu, and another one was a Reverse Holo Legendary Collection Fireworks Charizard. Both incredibly expensive cards worth over $1,000. And the huge issue with those, again, I'll point you to Rattle's video. Go watch Rattle's video if you really want to see the nuance of all of the details. The huge issue is these people purchased these cards, and the listings on eBay were well done listings, lots of pictures of the card where people can really see the condition of the cards, and they purchased these cards that were in really great condition, and then when they get the cards back from CGC and eBay's authentication service, they did not get the same card. They received, respectively, the Poncho Pikachu and the Legendary Collections Charizard, but both came with damage, and both were noticeably different cards. If you're into TCGs at all, you know that you can take two Poncho Pikachu Charizard cards, and they're the same card, but you can look at them, and even if they're both in near mint condition, you can tell that they're different cards based on placements of holo foils and centering and different things like that. So this is where there's a huge issue with this service, and this is where you could almost think, like, did somebody at eBay just say, hey, let's make up a process that makes it look better for us, but makes it easier for people to sell cards and then send damaged cards out to people and scam people and screw people over, and they get no recourse for those returns. Because what's happening here is, we've seen in a couple examples, and this was my fear. This was my big fear about this eBay authentication process. By the way, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the eBay authentication process and what you think about what I'm talking about here. My biggest fear was that somebody would go buy a card that was worth over the $600 limit or the $1,000 limit. You know, say you buy a $1,000 card, like these people did, and then they send the card, the seller sends the card to the eBay authentication process through CGC. Beyond the fact that who knows what the quotas are for these people that are authenticating these cards. Who knows how many cards they have to authenticate every day to not lose their jobs. Who knows if they're the best trained graders or not, because I'm assuming the best trained graders are at CGC grading the massive backlog of cards. Like my friend just got his bulk shipment back from CGC that he submitted over a year ago. I'm assuming that's where their best graders are, but who knows. Besides those issues, and what we're seeing is a couple examples where people are purchasing cards that look like they're in very, very good condition. They get the cards from CGC, eBay's authentication process, and it's the type of card that they bought, but it's a different card because they're receiving damaged cards. And then what's happening, and here's the huge issue, here's the real problem with this. What's happening is when they go to submit a refund to eBay and say, hey, I purchased this card, this is not the same card that was in the listing. The card in the listing, based on the pictures, had no damage. This card has damage, and this damage wasn't for me, and I took a video opening this card and it's damaged, I need a refund. eBay is telling them, sorry, there's no refunds allowed because it's gone through this authentication process. So just because the cards are going through this authentication process that people can't opt out of, by the way, that it's automatically going to go through this authentication process, that means you can't get a refund? That means since the authenticators aren't looking at the card critically and making sure it's the same card on the listing, that means I could go and put a near mint whatever up on a you know, an eBay listing for $750. Somebody buy it and I send one that's, you know, clearly heavy played, and once it gets the authenticators, they're not concerned with checking the condition of the card and making sure the condition of the card matches up with the condition of the listing, because they're not cross-referencing it. They're just looking and saying, oh, hey, this is supposed to be a first edition base set Blastoise, and look, here is a first edition base set Blastoise. It's not fake, it's authentic, authentication passed, send off to the seller, and because it's gone through that authentication process, the buyer, or I'm sorry, send off to the buyer, I said seller, and because it's gone through that authentication process, if there's any issue, if some shady seller tried to slip one in and send off a damaged card when they put a near mint listing and sold a near mint price, because it's gone through the authentication process, what eBay's telling us from these few people that have had issues is, it goes through the authentication process, there are no refunds. That's unacceptable. That's not okay. This is bad. This is almost like eBay's made it easier for people to scam and screw other people as a seller and trying to screw other buyers on the platform. I don't know, and I really don't think that was their initial intent, but it seems as if this is where we've landed. Is this service even needed? Why can't eBay just do a better job of making sure that there's not fakes put on their website? Why can't they do a better job of like actually protecting, you know, buyers and sellers? There's lots of reverse scams that happen on eBay where a buyer will buy something and then screw the seller. Well, now here's something that has happened that a seller could potentially screw a buyer because the authenticators that you cannot opt out from aren't checking to make sure the condition of the card is the same condition of the listing, the card that's on the listing. They're just checking to make sure it's a real card, and then you can't get a refund because it goes through the mandatory authentication process. You see where the problem is here. This is a big issue. This is something to be really wary of. So hopefully eBay fixes this. And for me, there's no way that I would be buying a card from eBay that was going to be forced to go through this authentication process. Guys, I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about this eBay authentication process? What do you think about my thoughts on it? Do you think this could be an issue, or do you think I'm, just over exaggerating and I'm looking too critically at it? And also, guys, make sure to watch my videos all the way through. If you enjoy my videos, watching them all the way through helps the YouTube algorithm so much with the success of my videos. And if you learned something from this video, or if you enjoyed it, please hit that subscription button. Give me a thumbs up because those likes really do help the video, and comment down below. All right, my friends, I hope I earned your subscription today. Check out some of these other videos. I know there's something there that you'll enjoy. If you haven't already, hit that subscription button and that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up because likes are free and they really do help. And like I always say, find somebody to love and serve today and be the change you want to see in the world. We'll see you next time.